I really think it's important that we try to keep ourselves out of the real capitalist mindset about agriculture. I know you have to survive, you have to make sure the finances in general fit, but there's so much that we do here that I just think of as like homeschool curriculum costs.
Like what? Because I would love to talk on that.
Well, the bees, for instance, it's like the kid, like, the bees are just like a money sink, but it's like, unless you're going to go big on bees, you're not going to make any money on bees and honey, but the kids love it. And the kids love going out there, and they love we bought them all little suits, you know what I mean? And we go out there and we open up the bees, and the kids just lose their minds, looking at these, at the frames and trying to find the queen and stuff and running the smoker. And it's, it's pollinating, it's doing a lot of good work at the same time, but also it's just like, I kind of joke, it's like I don't pay for my kids to go to a private school, and for the most part, it's just like, I see it as just like homeschool cost, you know what I mean? And I think some of the, in some ways the farm, we have to be able to enjoy ourselves and enjoy what we're doing. I think a lot of farms end up failing and going down the wrong road when they start crunching numbers too much,
It's interesting you brought that up, because I was reading today Unsettling of America by Wendell Berry.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just talking how, I wish I could have like the actual passage. It's essentially that, to where the whole culture aspect of agriculture and just modern society, to where you lose just what it means to be a farmer and having a farm, and everything that you just described is just entirely lost.
Right.
Because you're so focused on the money and just, you're kind of in that loop. And that's why it's so tough in modern society as, say, a commodity crop farmer is, they're just in that system. A lot of them might do well, and that's kind of, they're just part of the game and they're enjoying that. But then there's a large section of these farmers that they are just sucked in that, and it feels like it's nearly impossible to get out.
Right.
And then years go by. Yeah, it's a very tough problem.
Yeah, and I also think that people, with this new movement, of young people getting into farming, I just have really noticed a shift in the last, when I was getting into it in the 50s, and when I was like 15 or 20 years ago, there just seemed to be a much more movement that it was more about like, we want to retain the lifestyle, you know what I mean? And it just seems like there's a big emphasis now on making it a lucrative career or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's what has made farming special through the generations is a little bit of a subsistence aspect to it, and a little bit of a quality of life issue, and if you go to some farming conferences, it's a lot of times like, if you're not making money on it, get rid of it, you know what I mean? Because that kind of mentality, I guess, kind of like rubs me the wrong way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have things that we offer to the CSA that we really probably don't make money on, or many years just kind of lose money more often than not, because it's just kind of a tough crop to make happen. But the qualitative value of it, the way customers can get excited when this crop that usually doesn't work out very well, or you don't often have a lot of, there's a bumper crop one year, or just, the kids enjoying certain things that are a little bit unprofitable. That's really worth something, you know what I mean? I want my kids first and foremost to have enjoyed growing up here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And growing up on the farm. That is going to cinch the survival of the farm more than whether you ran a profitable operation. If your kids enjoyed growing up here and they love it and they're going to keep going, more than if it was a successful business venture. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why I got off on all that.
No, this is great. Henry, I have a question for you. Do you want to say anything or no? What is this?
It's a grabber.
Can you show me? How does it work?
You've gotta crank this little hand in the back, and then
He made this?
Well, he gets these little. It's part of the homeschool thing. He gets these little kits once a month,
It's
and
TV
they
service.
come with like instructions that don't have words. It's
Yeah.
all picture instructions on how to assemble it.
It's
Very cool.
TV service, and you've just gotta pull it out, and then this will close.
See, this is what's so cool because most kids, instead of this, would have just some big screen in front of their face the whole time. That's why. This is another reason why I wanted to talk about all this. It's just the whole raising your children in this society is just so challenging.
That is one thing. That's another reason, that that is as much a reason that we do what we do as the just whatever the health or the environmental or the political implications of what we do. It to me has always been like secondary to the family, the importance of the family aspect. I think that this kind of lifestyle breeds healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm extremely worried about the state of now don't be too rotten now. The state of kids today, and it's not their fault, it's just like
It's a byproduct of just the system.
yeah, well, and it's like so dumb too. It's like finally just like I think 3 days ago I read this thing about the this new study shows that like definitely the negative side effects of letting kids use smartphones and devices before they're 13, and it's just like how was that not obvious to anybody? But now they're like, yeah, we're highly recommending you don't let your kids even have a smartphone at least until they're 13. And it's just like, wow, man, it's too late, for a lot of kids. And I'm just like so glad we dodged that bullet because our kids are like really, they love if you take a picture of something, they got to see the picture you just took. And they'll love scrolling through the pictures that you've taken, And it's just like anybody. It's like all of a sudden you're like, hey, okay, you've been looking at the pictures a little too long. But for the most part, they don't have any interest in it, you know. And Rosie especially, she's 8, and she's like already like, I think we've thoroughly convinced them of the negative impacts of things like that. And that's what we love about living in this area too, and being like the small farm culture is still kind of alive and well. Like you can still find, don't touch any of that, okay? You can still find parents who don't let their kids, where it's still very normal that the kids aren't messing with that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So we really appreciate that.